From above, what remains of Gaza? Nothing but rubble. This was a city once home to 2 million people. Now entire buildings, hospitals, schools, all reduced to dust. After 22 months of Israel's war, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says this is not the end.
Will Israel take control of all of Gaza?
We intend to, in order to assure our security, remove Hamas there, enable the population to be free of Gaza, and to pass it to civilian governance. That is not Hamas and not anyone advocating the destruction of Israel. That's what we want to do.
In Jerusalem, protesters gather outside Israel's Security Cabinet meeting, where Netanyahu's government will seek approval for those plans. But the IDF army chief is not as sure, publicly opposing a full reoccupation, instead suggesting circling neighborhoods where hostages could be held. Speaking to Fox News before the meeting, Netanyahu laid out his vision for who will govern the Strip.
Well, we don't want to keep it. We want to have a security perimeter. We don't want to govern it. We don't want to be there as a governing body. We want to hand it over to Arab forces that will govern it properly without threatening us and giving Gazans a good life.
But this is life in Gaza City this morning. An Israeli airstrike targeting this house, killing 3 people. For the Palestinians who seek safety here, they fear now more destruction and mourning could follow.
What else can you do to us? You starved us and you killed us. You burnt us. You bombed us. Who are you threatening? Are you threatening dead people? We are waiting for our turn to die.
And just this afternoon, a hint of what's to come. The IDF issuing more evacuation orders for Gaza City, an area they've largely avoided for much of this war, but now it's their next target. The UN warned it will have catastrophic consequences. Gaza City is home to 1 million Palestinians who will be forcibly displaced again and pushed further south. As aid packages drop in North Gaza, the threat of hunger may be more urgent. Around 12,000 children under 5 are suffering from acute malnutrition, doubling in the last month. 4 people have died from malnutrition in the last 24 hours. Preventable tragedies that have become the norm.
Well, joining me now is the former Israeli hostage negotiator, Gershon Baskin. Gershon, it's good to have you back on the programme. Who in Israel actually wants this war in Gaza to continue?
Well, from what we know, from what we've seen over the last months, in almost 2 years now, it's the Prime Minister who wants the war to keep on going. He's the primary advocate of this war. The war should have ended a long time ago. The military have told him that they have achieved their military mission. Hamas has been decimated politically and militarily, but Netanyahu wants to keep the war going. He was the one responsible for breaking the ceasefire deal back in March, and he is the one who has refused so far to make a deal with Hamas now.
And he seems to be untroubled by the fact that the head of the IDF, the head of his own army, deployed in Gaza, who's been fighting this war for almost 2 years, has told him that more war and occupation are a really bad idea.
No, the chief of staff of the army was appointed by Netanyahu and his government, not by a previous government like the last chief of staff. He was appointed because he was perceived by the government to be a fighter, someone who was going to be aggressive and wouldn't back down. And yet he's coming to the government tonight, right now, as we're talking, in the government, telling all the reasons why the Israeli army believes that the continued war plans that Netanyahu is putting forward in the government are dangerous to Israel, are beyond what the army believes needs to be done and should be done. He believes that it will continue to weaken the Israeli army, which is exhausted after almost 2 years of fighting. The reserve duty soldiers in the army have been serving more than 300 days. This cannot go on. Plus the added additional real cost of human life to soldiers, to the hostages, to Palestinians, and the economic cost of what it would mean to surround Gaza City and the southern enclaves where 2.2 million Palestinians are located, and the international responsibility on Israel for feeding them, for the welfare of those people. This is a dead end for Israel, literally a dead end for Israel, and it's something that shouldn't be done. And if the chief of staff of the army can't stop it because he's under the orders of the government, the international community has to step in and stop it. This is the responsibility now of the world to prevent genocide, to prevent the war crimes that are taking place, to prevent the killing and additional suffering of the Palestinian people, and I must say the Israeli people as well.
Right. But we know, Gershon, that Prime Minister Netanyahu doesn't really listen to international public opinion, not even necessarily from Washington. Do you think that he's acting with an expressive green light from Donald Trump on this matter?
Well, first of all, Donald Trump said just yesterday that he was giving Israel a green light to do what it wants. Israel will do what it wants, he said. It's not true that Netanyahu doesn't listen to Trump. The reversal of the policy of supplying aid to Gaza was 180 degrees overnight without a government decision, simply because Trump told Netanyahu there's starvation in Gaza and he has to do something about it. Trump has the ability to tell Netanyahu to end the war, and Netanyahu cannot say no to him. But I just want to say it's not international public opinion that doesn't have an impact on Israel. It doesn't. But international power has the leverage over Israel, which is not used. The European Union, the United Kingdom, and other countries that have trade agreements and visa-free entry policies and Horizon research and development programs and all kinds of ways that the weight of the European Union and the United Kingdom and other countries have on Israel needs to be used now, not empty words, but a real show of determination and power.
I put the same question to Ehud Olmert, the former Prime Minister, yesterday. I'll ask you now, what would you say to Donald Trump briefly about what to do about this war from now on?
What I would say to Trump and what I've said to people who work with them is that there's a deal on the table. Hamas is ready to free all the hostages in exchange for the end of the war and a withdrawal of Israel from Gaza. There are security arrangements that can be negotiated with them. Hamas agrees to turn over the governance of Gaza to a technocratic neutral body, which they are not going to be part of, a Palestinian government. Everything else can be dealt with. All the security needs of Israel, all the concerns of Israel can be dealt with through an agreement with Hamas and the Arab countries and the Palestinian leadership. This is a deal that can be done very quickly, and it needs to be done.